Sounds like Sabrina Carpenter. Every night, oh, isn't that sweet? I get so. I do smell like weed.
That's good. That's good. Smokes, let's go. Oh. Nah. Who the fuck are we talking about?
In tonight's
Byron
story,
Daniel?
musician
Byron
Byron
Daniel.
Daniel finds himself in the
Everybody's
spotlight
talking
once
about
again.
Byron
I know
Daniel,
about Byron Daniel.
making
Go.
headlines again.
with crowds of over
Byron.
a million
It's
people.
Byron Daniel.
This just in, developments surrounding
He's moved the
Byron
hearts and minds of millions. And now, for the first time ever, we get an exclusive look at Byron Daniel's life off stage. A little over 300 miles northwest of New Orleans, Louisiana, lies the town of West Monroe. This humble hamlet is where the story of Byron Daniel begins. It's where he had his first kiss, his first heartbreak, and most importantly, his first guitar.
Yeah, so Byron. I guess you could say we go back, you know. I've only been knowing him since he was writing Y's backwards in his name whenever we were kids. He had just moved over our third grade year to George Welch. I think I was one of the first people to introduce myself to him, and it didn't take me long to realize I was dealing with a fascinating specimen here. You know, after hanging out with him for a little bit, you know, I came to realize he didn't need to know the orientation of the letter Y to play the fuck out of guitar. You get what I'm saying? I mean, he was freeballing the War Pig solo before we were double digits. Crazy. He's always had it. He's always had it. He's still got it, and you know, it's fucking insane. You know, we third, fourth, fifth grade, we were just fucking playing guitar, learning how to play, playing video games, and then, you know, we got into skateboarding, and I wasn't necessarily great at that, and Byron wasn't much better, that's for sure.
Let's see. I think we met when we were in elementary school at George Welch. I knew at a young age we decided we wanted to play music. And you already had a guitar. My brother had a guitar at the time, but I didn't know how to play. You knew how to play. And then you progressively got better and better. And I think in the 5th grade we decided we wanted to be in a band, but you had a guitar, and I think I wanted to be a drummer.
And then in high school, Byron switched up his style, man. You would have thought that Jimmy Page fucking died and came back fucking reincarnated as this dude. And, you know, he was tearing it up. The style was fucking perfect for what he had going on. And what made it hilarious was he ended up getting a truck later in the high school that had like these 22-inch like chrome looking rims on it. So you would think that Led Zeppelin and Paul Wall were doing a collab whenever he was hopping out the vehicle. Man, that shit was fucking hilarious.
But I didn't have a drum set. I had that little drum pad thing. That wasn't even a drum kit. It was literally like a drum pad with like 6 different pads on it. It was terrible, but that didn't work out too well. So I decided to get a bass.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's funny. You know, I really have Byron to thank for my early years of picking up guitar and learning how to play, and I really don't think I would have been able to pursue music and even, you know, do music in the way that, you know, I do now had I not had him in those, you know, just fundamental years, I would say. And he's always been such a fucking good friend, and, you know, even if we've only seen each other 5 times over the last 10 years, I mean, it's just been a fucking pleasure every single time, and I am so happy to see this dude still tearing it the fuck up musically and fucking just, you know, looking good as hell, man, entering his fucking 30s looking like a sexy motherfucker. I mean, it is fucking...
And I learned how to play bass, and we started Haven. And yeah. We did a bunch of stuff. I mean, we were on that radio show that one time, and we played, you know, just shows throughout different venues. We played at our very first show was in Mississippi at Yazoo City at a place called The Vault, and it sucked. Not necessarily. I mean, we might have not sounded too good, but I don't even think we got paid for that one. And we drove all the way out there, and I'm pretty sure all the other bands got paid. And we weren't in it for the money really, but it is what it is.
It's a beautiful day in this.
How we looking over there?
It looks nice.
Yeah, are we rolling?
I mean, I've been rolling.
They're rolling now. I
This
think.
is all of our E footage,
Right.
So, you know, had a long, hard day.
That'd be nice.
So
Tell me, let's talk about your good times. The
So-
good times before they turn bad.
well, you know, I mean, like bad is subjective, right? And you know, when I met the kid, I mean, like, I mean, he was something else, you know. And acid chops. A little young, a little naive, but you know, I mean, you had a good ear. You know? Yeah, I was impressed. Good ear. You always had that weird twitch. When he went through his sort of like folksy John Denver meets Eddie Rabbit meets John Mayer phase, I was all for it, and that's when I was really like, man, like we couldn't suffocate this guy with our trivial bullshit, you know? I mean, he was fucking great. And I mean, nowadays, like when I go collect cans, you know, I mean, that's, I mean, saving them all here. When I go collect cans, like, the thing that I ask myself all the time, and I think you know the answer to this. Yeah.
Right, so I met Brian Daniels outside of a pub and I'm in fucking America. Right off the bat, that bloke rubbed me the wrong way. He had that sort of swagger you just can't pull out your ass. It wasn't until I saw him on stage that I knew he was gonna be a fucking star.
That motherfucker told me my band sucked.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met Brian. He was working the sound at the first show that I ever performed outside of my bedroom with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Michael Spoon, over at Low Road Brewing. And I knew at that moment, watching him turn those knobs on that soundboard, that there was something special about that guy. I'll probably have him in my life for years to come. So little did I know that would come to fruition fairly soon, because a week after that show, I found myself in a very small room with a couple of guys that I didn't know, and we decided we were going to be a band. And the Dirty Spoons was formed with the foundation of the Spoons laying down the thick, funky bass lines for Brian himself. And yeah, I had a lot of my first band memories with the Spoons and with Brian. And just a lot of great times, a lot of formative memories, things that I won't ever forget and that cherish.
Man, some of my favorite memories of Byron would probably be anytime we're in the studio, pretty tight, being able to fucking have some creative input on these, you know, any of the songs that we do, and just take an idea and actually put it into something physical is pretty nice. And I always feel like he really has a pretty good ear for being able to hear what sounds good in a song, and that's seeing him utilize his full creativity at full capacity is really really a super cool memory.
Smudge there. Got it. Journal entry 416. Again, I'm going to talk about the person that changed my life, Byron Daniel. Let me tell you how Byron D, the Reverend, changed my life, okay? I was broke down. There I was, broke down on the side of the road, Lafourche Parish. Broken down. I'm not a car guy, music guy, right? So Byron D came to my rescue. BD to the rescue, okay? He not only fixed my issue, he found and diagnosed other issues. There's evidently a wheel belt, I believe he fixed. He fixed that, and then he took me out to Din Din. Byron D fixed me up and took me out to dinner. Okay, and that's what Byron Daniel does in all of our lives. You especially, okay? Change your life. Let me tell you, one of my many kids was having a hard time sleeping at night. 3:46 in the morning, just crying, you know, relentless tears, okay? And BD just knew. He called me and he said, Daniel, what's wrong? I said, the Reverend, how did you know I needed you in this moment? He said, Byron Daniel's got you. And he just sang a beautiful song and not only put my child to sleep, but me as well. And when I woke up several hours later, he was still singing that song. I said, sleepy voice. I said, Byron Daniel, why are you still on the phone? He said, because I wanted to make sure you guys got a good night's sleep. He sang that song for 6 hours straight. Byron Daniel changed my life.
Oh, like he put his foot out of the truck, and I was like, he got it. It's in the bag. But nah, I don't know, realistically, probably after maybe about 10 minutes of playing with him on that very first rehearsal back in 2012, fucking circa 2012, the first 10 minutes I was like, God damn, dude, like, how are you that good at 17 years old? I have a brother that's been playing music or playing guitar for over 40 years, and he's a savage. And Byron would fucking sit right there with him and probably fuck him up on some things. Probably most things, fuck him up. Just fuck him up, dude. But I'd say like within 10 minutes, I was like, we'll see this dude in like rock and roll magazines, you know, be like the fucking celebrity of Mandeville, St. Tammany Parish, St. Slaminy. Byron put St. Slaminy in St. Tammany. That's what Byron fucking does. What? And then, you know, to top all this off, his guitar talents, the hog, his hair, the dude can put on any piece of clothing and rock it, and it looks cool as shit. I've seen this motherfucker wear a Canadian tuxedo, and I'm like, I'm not gay, but I kind of want to do it, you know? Like, who pulls that kind of shit off? And then he'll wear some like hippie shit, and I'm just like, dang, he looks cool as fuck again today? Every day this dude's looking cool as shit. He wears overalls to work, I've seen him, and I'm like, how you make overalls look cool, dude? My daddy wear overalls, and he looked like a fucking dummy. You know, but you make overalls look cool? The dude could probably wear a thong, and I'd be like, nice ass, guy. Fucking killing it, you know, with them cheeks hanging out. But
How do you do that shit? And then, you know, he's a fucking ordained minister too. He's marrying motherfuckers. Kind of responsibilities you got to marry people. You know, that's a lot of pressure on your shoulders, and he carries it every time. At least once that I know of. One way. He'll probably marry me. Nah, fucking not probably. He gonna marry us eventually. That's a fact, Jack. But I don't know, man. He's one of my favorite dudes, and in all seriousness, fuck this guy. In all seriousness, I love him to death.
Byron Daniel. First time I met that guy, I opened up for him. I played acoustic guitar for him and the Five Dead Dogs. I think it was around the time they played the Willie Nelson Picnic over in Austin, Texas. They were rolling back in through Monroe. And I remember covering some Drive-By Truckers tunes, and he knew every word, and I was thinking, like, that was a great first impression. You know, these Truckers tunes. And then they got up there, and they melted faces. It was an incredible show. I was like, you know, I never, around here, it was like, man, it's like they just rolling through here playing this music out here in this alleyway. That's what it felt like anyway. It was rock and roll, pure rock and roll. And I just knew from that moment, I was like, I'm gonna be cool with this guy. It's like I always knew him. But I remember that was a really cool time to meet. First time we ever met. Played a show together. What a cool moment. And then, I know they went off, and it was years before I saw them again. And I knew they're all over the world, touring around, playing their music, being the cool people they are. And then one day, Old Irish Pub over in Monroe, they rolled through there. And I remember going there that night, and what the cool thing was, just felt like there's no gap in between it. It was a really cool time. They played an incredible show. I was even invited to play on stage with them. Ever since that day, I ain't seen them since. Maybe out of the country again. Maybe writing that secret album.
We went on a trip with Christian and Christian's friends for his bachelor trip, and we were climbing up a mountain, and the two of us out of the whole group were the two that got lost, and Byron stuck with us. He didn't really know us super well at the time, and he stuck with us, and that just kind of showed us who Byron was.
Definitely.
We went back to the house after he probably saved us from getting lost on the mountain.
Sure did.
We went back to the house. We listened to a lot of butt rock. We talked about wrestling, and we cooked some meat. And we've been making it ever since, right?
It was amazing. It was an incredible time. Byron is the man. He's what can we say about Byron, man? He's obviously incredibly talented, multiple ways, right? Aside from just the musical talent, you know, he's just genuinely a good dude and very easy to be around, fun.
Hell, I've known the boy a while. Me and him go way back playing music, but he don't really talk to me no more on account of being famous. But I suppose that just comes with it. It didn't hurt my feelings. I'm pretty tough guy. But I wanted to tell y'all a story because I gotta tell y'all that Byron's been lying a little bit all these years. You know, I've gone to these shows and watched Byron play, and they get off the stage and all the girls are like, Byron, you got such beautiful hair. It's prettier than mine. Well, that shit is fake. Faker than hell. one night, me and Byron were on Willie Nelson's tour bus, right? Talking to Willie, and you know, Willie was doing this thing, and middle of his conversation, he reaches over and snips his braids off and says, "Byron, I'm proud of you, boy. I want you to have these." And he put them on Byron, and ever since then, Byron's had that hair. Byron's really got alopecia. He ain't got no hair on his damn head. The guy's more hairless than this bottle right here, which this is the Gatorade Zero. Sugar's higher than crackhead on payday, but that's besides the point. But yeah, them braids came from Willie Nelson, and that was probably my fondest memory of me and old Byron Daniels on Willie Nelson's tour bus. I'll never forget it. But yeah, the boy's been doing good. I'm proud of him. How many more things I need to say to get these coupons? You know, this is kind of like a timeshare event. I got to go there and listen to so much bullshit and then try and sell me something. Just give me the damn park tickets. I don't know what else you want me to say, man. Byron's a good guy, all right guy, decent guy. You know, but damn, damn old guts hurting. I need to get this sugar down. Y'all have a good day, Byron. If you see this, man, holler at me. Holler at your boy, okay? Damn.
Well, let's talk about old Byron. Yeah, while we talk about him, let's share a Coke with Byron. Them big dummies put Brian on it. They should have known better. It's Byron, not Brian. Yep, we'll share a Coke with old Byron. I knew Byron before he was Byron. I knew him when he was Byron. Before he was Byron. Yep, before all the fame and all the success. We used to party pretty hard together, man. I'll tell you this one time. I had this place. We used to barbecue all the time. Man, we were out there grilling, drinking, having a good old time. Before you know it, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and a damn chicken starts clucking. And it just wouldn't shut up. I looked over at him. I said, "Byron, hey man, we gotta do something about that." Like, yeah. Well, the coals are still hot on the grill, he said. It's been a couple hours since we ate something. You thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, let's go get that little sun gunner. We ran over there. They got a fence up. And for some weird reason, there's this little peephole through the fence. So I looked in that little peephole, and Byron looked in the little peephole, and I took another look in the peephole, and then Byron looked again, and we saw him. Yeah, we gonna get there sometime. I don't know why there was a peephole though. I still think about that to this day. I think I had some sketchy neighbors, man. I said, "Byron, come on, man, let's go get him." And before we could hop that fence, that chicken came charging at us. Boy, we took off running. We were just 2 chickens. We were just 2 chickens. But old Byron.
When I had Byron, I was so young, and you know, the advantage to having him at that point in time was the fact that, you know, he got to know his great grandparents as well as his grandparents, and Byron was just special. from the beginning. And I'll never forget, Byron was learning how to play and sing at the same time. And we were sitting in the living room at at Mimi's, and Byron was sitting on the floor playing Going to California and singing at the same time. And I look over, and there was a tear trickling down Daddy's cheek. And that moment of pride that Daddy had was so moving to me. I don't know that Byron understands what an amazing human he is.